Our theme has been Wall Street coming onto Main Street and joining the party and the chorus of believers such as myself that savers must have, not should have, must have at least some of their money into products that provide guaranteed lifetime income, and that would be, of course, annuities. But we have to go back into the annals of history and look at my granddad's retirement and where he started. So what I'm going to do is kind of a timeline of retirement. And when did this welcome back to the party begin? We're going to go over to the whiteboard here. We got the big one out. This is important stuff, folks. But basically, we're going to take it back all the way. We'll start this timeline at 1932, an important date there. This is when my granddad, at the age of 18, keep in mind this was during the Depression, folks, began working at Bell South. Now, back in that day, there was another important timeline, and you'll see where I'm going with this. That was 1935. What was significant about 1935? Well, that's when Social Security was enacted into law. Now, why do I mention these two dates is very important? You have to remember, up until this time, for the most part, people were on their own in terms of planning for retirement. They tried to save as best they could. Maybe they had a farm, a little business, paid off things. Basically, it was kind of hand to mouth back then. Very few people had a lot of money. You just did the best you could with what you got. That's how you lived. But then came in this idea of Social Security, which really is just an annuity. It's a promise to pay a guaranteed lifetime income that you can never outlive. Well, as Social Security took hold, many employers, including Bell South, began to think about ways they too could reward their employees for years of service, and that was called a pension. Again, a pension is just like an annuity. Annuities, pensions, Social Security, they're all the same thing, folks. Their main focus is to make sure they can provide a lifetime income to the recipient for as long as they live. That's why Wall Street's now starting to see the wisdom in this, because they're realizing you can't go into retirement and have all this risk because you could run out of money, and that's not what savers want to do. So let's now fast forward a little bit on this timeline. Granddad's working his tail off at Bell South all these years. Then in 1978, Granddad attends a party of some of his co-workers. Why was the party held for Granddad? Because he was retiring. Now again, keep in mind, I was 18 years of age. I spent a lot of time with my granddad down in Troy, Kentucky. I remember it well. He came home with a clock, a brass clock, a hat, and a license plate that says I is retired or something goofy. And that was it. He never went back to work. And that's when he got his beloved pension, or what he called mailbox money. Okay? So Granddad didn't worry about money. He didn't even have a 401k. Why did he not have a 401k? Roughly that same time, that's when the 401k was created by Congress with, I think, the help of Wall Street. And now all of a sudden, Wall Street, with all of its mutual funds and all that stuff, came onto Main Street and started offering Joe Lunchbox these very risky 401k savings plans. Now again, I'm not getting on the 401k savings plan. It's an excellent way to save for the future. The problem is it ushered in all of these worries and concerns that my granddad never had, all right? And one of those concerns is risk. And we know what happened in 2001. Actually, it was 2000 to 2002, if you want to be specific about it. Basically, for 3 straight years, take a look at this. 3 straight years, the market tanked. Can you imagine being retired during this period of time? The problem was nobody was retired back then at that time with these 401ks because they hadn't been around that long. People didn't worry about it, and off we go. The stock market rebounds, which it always does. But another important timeline, we all remember this, 2008, when many of these 401ks magically became 201ks. That's right, a lot of people lost 50% of those 401ks. So as we move forward, okay, now we're at 2024 with 10,000 people retiring each and every day, or at least turning 65 anyway, all of these savers are saying, wait a minute, I can't continue to take all this risk. What about these annuities? What about these pensions? The annuities folks are becoming so popular, and we saw that back in 2001. This is when I started selling annuities. I realized back then that people would want these guarantees just like Granddad. But now, welcome to the party, pal. Here comes Wall Street saying, yeah, maybe annuities aren't so bad after all. So basically, you might be saying, well, Tony, what's the point of all this? The point of all this, folks, is, first of all, if you're looking at an annuity, which if you're a saver, I would encourage you to consider annuities in your retirement plans. Why not consider an annuity from somebody who's been doing this all the way back around 9/11? This is when I committed my practice to finding safer alternatives for savers. Now, of course, we still have the split IRA. We can still take some risk. We can take some liquidity positions with Charles Schwab, but for the most part, we're going to make sure if you're a saver, you've got that annuity, assuming you want that beloved
mailbox money.
So you might be sitting there saying, yeah, Tony, I would like a second opinion. I have been pitched an annuity by somebody recently. I've been invited to a dinner seminar. They're talking about annuities. Well, I would encourage you to talk to us first before doing anything with an annuity. And it's easy to do and absolutely free. Just log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You're going to click on that Let's Get Started button, or to arrange a free phone call with me, just call 877-499-9255.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like, check out these other clips. And be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for more videos.